There aren't many game franchises out there that figured out how to properly transition to the world of film. I never played Exit 8, but I was vaguely aware of its premise. It seemed impossible to adapt to the big screen, but I was still somewhat interested to see the result. Due to what I assume was a positive run in Cannes and a fair dose of luck, Genki Kawamura's The Exit 8 ended up in local theaters, which was a rare opportunity I wasn't going to let slip by, and I'm glad I made the effort, because this turns out to be something quite special indeed. If only more films like these would make their way onto the big screen. It feels a bit odd to say this is a unique film, as its main reason for standing out is directly lifted from the game it was based on. That's also what makes this different from most game adaptations. Those tend to focus heavily on familiar franchise characters and world building, shoehorning in an unrelated narrative that ignores most of the game's characteristics. The Exit 8 flips the script and neatly weaves a plot through the gameplay mechanics. The result is a very singular experience that stands well on its own. There are links to films like El Incident, or recent micro-budget sci-fi films like Beyond the Infinite 2 Minutes, but none quite like what you'll find here. The introduction does an excellent job transporting you into an uneasy universe that has few rules and lots of uncertainties, while also being extremely tiny and repetitive. A good 90% of the film is spent in an inconspicuous-looking metro station corridor, a sterile location with few defining characteristics. But the setup of the film forces you to take notice, even though it's a lot less reliant on letting you play detective than you may suspect. The film isn't too worried about letting you hunt for anomalies. You hitch a ride on the protagonist's back while he tries to figure out how the game is supposed to be played. A man is on his way to work when he gets a phone call from his ex-girlfriend. She is in the hospital and just found out that she is pregnant. The man is walking through the metro station when his connection suddenly drops. As he walks towards the exit, he notices that the hallway seems to be repeating itself. The same man keeps walking down the hallway, and no actual exit shows up. Unsure of what is happening, he suddenly notices instructions on the wall that advise him to turn around when he notices any anomalies. And so begins his long and hazardous journey. The setting is bland, cold, and uninviting by design, so Kawamura had his work cut out for him. It's a small miracle that he managed to add so much visual appeal, even though you could see him using every trick in the book to get there. The intro is shot from a first-person perspective. The camera work is mathematical in its precision. There are some stylish scares, and the editing is perfect. The score and sound design are equally effective. The music is minimalist and relies on brooding and rumbling ambient to set the mood, with some returning samples signaling impending trouble. It's the kind of score you don't actively notice until it suddenly drops, and the quiet becomes overwhelming. In combination with the visuals, it creates a tight and suffocating atmosphere that pulls you to the edge of your seat, even when very little is going on. It's expert filmmaking and a testament to how one can accomplish a lot with very little while not coming off as on a budget. The performances are good too, though they're slightly less important to the overall success of the film. The main character is rather generic, which isn't too surprising since he's supposed to be the player of the game. The walking man is a peculiar figure who is the right kind of freaky and will probably leave the biggest impression. The two other characters roaming the halls are nice diversions, but they're mostly just extras to kickstart certain parts of the plot. That's not really a knock on the actors, who do a proper job, it's just that their roles aren't that essential. After the intro scene and the initial reconnaissance, there's a fun narrative twist that adds more context and body to the story. It gives the film a bit more depth and weight, but ultimately, it's there to pad what is a razor-thin, singular premise. Not everyone will agree, but keeping the film stripped of excessive narrative padding was the right way to adapt this. It's all about the setting, the uneasy and the disorientation, and whenever the film strays from that, it loses some of its tight grip on the audience. It's just best to keep things simple and to the point. The Exit 8 feels like an indie film that somehow found the talent and budget to elevate itself. The intriguing premise and the strong central mystery will pull you in, but it's the stylish presentation and the refined balance of elements that will keep you invested until the end. Genki Kawamura shows he's a capable director, but the biggest surprise is that this film actually found mainstream distribution. That's a sign that things are changing again, and that creative filmmaking is ready to step back into the limelight. One can hope.